بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I would like to welcome all of you today in this nice day that's raining, and still we are enjoying very much nice weather these days. And we are going. We are in management 5 to 12, organizational behavior and leadership, and we are in at Greenburg textbook, and this is chapter 15. One more chapter to finish the whole book, which is going to be next class. And chapter 15, we are going to talk about organizational structure and design. And this class is for Monday, April the 20th, 2020. Okay. For today is the April 20th is going to be a special day. Okay. When we talk about organizational structural design, how do we design organizations? You know, when a person took over a new position as CEO, he usually bring his own people that he trusts and he know that they will help him to reach the organizational objective or the challenges, and he has to bring people. Those people is part of his setup. Lots of good examples when Lee Iacocca or Jack Welch and we talk about them, or Carlos Olson. You know, they brought themselves to those organizations that they join people that they can depend on them, and we notice always that this is happening. You know that whenever there is a new appointment for a president or CEO, he usually brings his own staff or his own people. Now, this is one thing, which is the HR. He brings good human resource that he can depend on. The other part is when he depends on restructuring. Most of the time, they look at the structure and they try to restructure and redesign the organization. Now, designing an organization, just like designing your own home. If a person would like to design his own home, he will think of layout, where will be the living room, where will be the bedrooms, where are the other rooms, suites, and organization design something similar to designs of the house. You usually try to organize the space to fit you and your family. Same thing with the organization. You try to design the whole organization to fit and to meet the challenges and to meet the organizational goal. But this is very, 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 very interesting. And giving responsibilities, and it comes with that comes with position, or maybe taking out some of responsibilities. We're going to be talking about today about the essence of organizational structure design. Okay, now it's needless to say, or I have even said it before, that I myself face that as when I work for a consultant for some organization. They said, we didn't do anything. Our organization is the same, and we have been enjoying, profit last year and the year before and the year before. I didn't do anything else. Same budget, same design, same anything. And we told them as a consultant, that is by itself a problem, because you didn't adapt to change. Because organizational structures changes over time, okay? 70s, 80s, now we are in the 2000, now 2010 and 2020. Very, very, very interesting. Okay? Very, very, very interesting. Do we need to change organizational designs? Yes, we do. We have to take a look at least and review them all the time, because sometimes the problem in companies or challenges that they face because they didn't change their organizational design. Very interesting. Okay. Now, to start with, probably, I will, if this is just a normal class, what I would do, I would ask my student or one of the students, I tell them, what, remember or imagine you graduated from this school and then you work for 5 years and then you made your own business and you become big businessman after 20 years. Tell me what type of business you are in. And this students, usually, I told him just imagine and dream. Tell me what type of business you are in. He said, this person, imaginary person, he said, I have a business maintenance, okay, and services. And I provide that to Aramco. I said to him, good. He told me, I have a factory. I build a factory for spare parts that valves, okay, valves. He said, now, after 20 years from now, okay, he said, I also made a paint factory. That's good. Then he said, I went into the pharmacy business and I have 4 pharmacies in the 4 major cities, Jeddah, Riyadh, Dammam, and Tabuk. I told him, good. What else do you have? 20 years from now, you have a group of 50 companies. Tell me, what do you have? He said, I have, I went into trading, okay? And I have so many brands, okay, that I have 10 stores all over the country. I'm good, okay. Then he said, I work also in the area of diving services. Good. He said, I work in the fisheries. I told him, that's good. I have a factory, okay. I have a factory for shrimp, okay. Okay. And I work and I have a plastic. Okay, I told him, good. Now 20 companies, 50 companies, 20 companies. He told me, I work also in building materials. Why? Building materials. He told, okay, what else? I told him, or asked him, he said, I work in lights, okay, and electric, I work in trading and services. I provide service electric for big companies like Aramco. And the list goes on and on and on. Now, I want you to imagine what is it like to put all these activities on organization chart, okay? An organization chart. On what basis I should make organization chart? Shall I do it according to areas, Dammam, Khobar, Jeddah area, Riyadh area, or shall I make it according to function? Okay. Or shall I make it according to specialty? Anything related to Aramco under one area, anything trading under one area, anything related to service. Okay. Specialty or something else. This chapter is going to tell you all about organizational design. How are we convert all these into organizational structure? Organizational structure defined as the formal configuration between individuals and groups with respect to allocation of task, what each person task I gave him, responsibilities, and authorities within the organization. And this is what we mean by organizational structure. Formal configuration between individuals and groups with respect to the allocation of tasks, responsibilities, and authorities within organization. We have hierarchy of authority up and down, and we have organizational leaders. Leaders design these organizational structure to achieve organizational goal. This is the difference between tall versus flat organization. This is tall organization. We have a president, vice president, director, manager, worker, and another vice president, okay? Now, notice that each manager has a few workers, relatively narrow span of control. What we mean by span of control is how many people are reporting to me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? Now this is dependent on so many factors, okay, of the ideal number, okay, to report to you. The flat organization, however, we have, okay, president under him rather than vice president or and director, immediately managers, okay, and under each manager he has relatively wider span of control. This is what we call flat organization. So there are difference between tall organization, okay, structure and flat organization structure. Usually, the tall organization structure, we find it more in the US or American companies. And the flat organization structure, we find it more in the Chinese or Japanese or Far East, and the European just in between, okay? Very interesting. Okay, now we talked about the hierarchy of authority, which is distinction between members of organization with respect to the degree of authority they have. Higher positions in organizations reflect higher degree of formal authority. The more you are higher in the organization, you have more formal authority. Span of control, as we said, the number of subordinates in an organization who are supervised by managers. Division of labor, okay? Division of labor is the process of dividing the many tasks performed within the organization into a particular jobs. Therefore, this is the division of labor, okay? Dimension, degree of specialization, we have it either low or high. Degree usually with the degree of specialization, we have low or general tasks. In the high aspect, we have high specialized tasks. Typical organizational size, we have with the low division of labor, we have a small. With the high division of labor, the size usually large. يعني big company, big size company, they have higher division of labor. Okay. Now, with the economic efficiency, the division of labor, if it is low, inefficient, while division of labor is needed and highly efficient with the what? With big division of labor. Okay. Line versus staff position. This is an organizational chart of one of the U.S. Department Secretary, and he has of health, I think. And this is the Deputy Secretary, and underneath him, Office of Public Health and Services, Office of the Assistant Secretary, and Administration of Children and Families, agencies for toxic substance and disease, and so on and so forth. This is the secretary, the deputy secretary, everybody reporting for him, and we can see a solid line reported to the department secretary of health. However, we have 1, 2, 3, which is chief of staff, and the executive secretaries, and we have Office of Intergovernmental Affairs and Regional Representative. These are connected to the secretary either from both sides, and these are connected with dotted line. And this is the difference between line staff versus line position. A line, and therefore, a line position in an organization in which people can make decisions related to doing its job, doing its basic work. While the staff position is a position in organization in which people make recommendation to other, but not themselves involved in making the decisions concerning organizational day-to-day operation. Therefore, this is the difference between the line, solid line, and dotted line. These are reporting directly, and these are they are not responsible, the dotted line, with the day-to-day work. Now, decentralization, which is delegation power downward. You delegate. As a rule of thumb, if anything you can delegate, if you do it yourself, is what? Is waste of your time. If anything from your subordinate can do the job for you, you should delegate it to them. Don't do it yourself because you have a staff to help you and they have subordinates to help you. Therefore, you should free yourself for the strategic planning, for more, for jobs that the subordinates cannot do, that you do it yourself. Right. For instance, photocopying papers. You are a big boss. It's not your job to go ahead and make photocopies. They put for you a secretary to do it. That is his job. If you do it yourself, you will cost the company more money because you have high salary and your secretary have much lower secretary and you are doing secretarial job. Very important to know these things. Your time is precious for the company. That's why they give you higher salary. Therefore, you should work equivalent to those important stuff that being given to you. Okay, now, low centralization versus high centralization. High centralization eliminate additional responsibilities, high centralization, not desired by people performing a routine job, and permits high centralization. Everything centralized in the top management, okay? Permits crucial decisions to be made by individuals who have the big picture. Okay. Now, low centralization, more delegation. Okay. This can eliminate levels of management, making a leaner organization, and promotes greater opportunities for decisions to be made by people closest to the problem. Again, centralization, authority, decisions making are spread throughout all levels of an organization rather than, this is decentralization. Authority, again, decentralization is authority and decisions and decision making are spread throughout all levels of an organization rather than being reserved for the top management. Decentralization give authority, okay, as much as you can. Centralization, concentration of power at the top management. And centralization is tendency for just a few powerful individuals or groups hold most of the decision-making power. Okay. Now, departmentalization, ways of structuring organization. What do we mean departmentalization? Dividing work into departments. Departmentalization, process of breaking up organizations into coherent units. Again, we'll go to the same problem. We have so many activities. Again, KFUPM graduate from this school, and 5 years he worked probably with Aramco, another 5 years with business with another private business. Then last 10 years he made his own companies and he has a group of 50 companies. Okay, how? And he has so many. He has factories, he has trading, he has services, he has maintenance. How do we convert those into organizational chart? Now, first type, functional organization, departmentalization by tasks. Functional organization is the type of the departmentalization based on the activities for functions performance. Like he put centralized sales, purchasing, marketing, he put different functions, okay? Product organization, departmentalization. This is product organization. It is departmentalization by type and output. Product organization is type of departmentalization based on the product. He has factory here, and he has services here, and he has maintenance here, and he has maybe all 2, 3, 4 factories. Put them under one category. We have something called matrix organizations. And this is departmentalization by both function and product. Matrix organization, type of organization in which product or project form is superimposed on the functional form. And best way probably to describe matrix type of organization is research institute at University, King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals. Research institute, they have like 300 scientists full-time working for applied research. KFUPM, they have faculty that teach students classes, all different type of majors and area and specialty. Now, both of them, RI, Research Institute, and different colleges belong to KFUPM. KFUPM has a matrix type of organization where faculty, where the scientists that they have, they also teach at the university as a faculty. And they wear two hats. One for RI, Research Institute, and one as a faculty. And this is what we call matrix system. Similar setup with the Stanford University and the Stanford Research Institute, SRI. But this is probably the best description of matrix functional organization. We have Chief Executive Officer. Now we'll go back again, okay? First type, we said, we divide these activities according to function, okay? We put the Chief Executive Officer, President, we have CEO, and under him, President, and then we have Production Department, Sales Department, Research and Development, and Accounting Department. Dividing this or organizing this into product, we call it product organization. We have Chief CEO, Chief Executive Officer, President, Product 1, Product 2, Product 3. Under each product, we have production, sales, research, development, accounting, production, sales, as it repeats itself, research. And this is a good example if you want Procter & Gamble. They have shampoo, and they have the soap, and they have different cosmetics, they have different, and each one different products, okay? And each one, this is they use a product function. This is matrix organization, as I said, just something similar, where research institute, they have their own, okay? And at the same time, they work at the university. We have functional authority, and we have project authority, okay? Organizational design, and this is coordinating the structural elements of organization. Organizational design is coordinating the structural elements of organizations in the most appropriate manner. How would I convert all of these activities into nice design so that I achieve an organizational goal? This is the challenge. We have a classical organizational theory, and we have a neoclassical organizational theory. A classical organizational theory approach assuming that there is a single way to design organization. If I take this, I assume there is only one way. This is the classical. The neoclassical organizational theory يقول لك ايش؟ attempt to improve upon classical organizational theory, claiming that economic effectiveness is not the only goal of organizational structure, but also employee satisfaction. I have to include, I have to make the atmosphere is right for everybody also to be satisfied. Again, organizational design, process of coordinating the structural element of an organization in the most appropriate manner. Classical versus neoclassical organizational design. This is the classical organization. They assume it's a tall hierarchy, narrow span of control, and the close control over subordinates. While the neoclassical organization is a flat organization, we have a flat hierarchy, wide span of control, and loose control over subordinate. You let them have more freedom to work. We have also the contingency approach, which is design according to environmental conditions. Wow. How do I design organizational structure and I have to put in mind the environmental conditions? Very interesting. Good examples what we are going through right now with the coronavirus. It's very interesting. Will company have to restructure their organization accordingly? Maybe. If this coronavirus stays for a long time, if the, you don't know, maybe, of course, right now, even the way that we do jobs become different. You do it remotely, social distancing for how long? Today, I hear in the BBC word that they said they expect this social distancing to be more than a year, this is in England. Very interesting. We have to put environment. There is no more urgent time to change organizational structure more than this time that we are going through. Very interesting, very interesting, okay? Now, a contingency approach, it's a design according to the environmental conditions. What we mean by contingency approach to organizational design. It's contemporary approach that recognizes that no one approach or organizational design is best. No one is the best, okay? But that the best design is that best fits with the existing environmental condition. Best design that fits environmental condition. The external environment, it is connection to original design. In general, the external environment is the sum of all forces impinging on an organization with which it must deal effectively if it is to survive Banks is a good example for that. They always restructure, redesign. Right now, lots of companies is trying to do that in order to survive. The contingency approach, okay, we have within the contingency approach, mechanistic approach versus we have a versus organic approach. Mechanistic versus organic. Mechanistic is a classic, formal. Organic is very flexible. Okay. Dimension. This is the mechanistic. This is organic. The structure, in terms of stability, mechanistic, changing unlikely. It is stable, doesn't change. While for organic, changing likely change. Specialization. For mechanistic, we have many specialists, while the organic, we have many generalists. Okay? Because for organic, a person can take 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Okay? For mechanistic, we have formal rules, which is rigid rules, mechanistic. Dimension of the formal rules is rigid with the mechanistic structure, and organic structure considerable flexible. Authority, mechanistic centralized, okay, vested in a few top people, while organic decentralized, diffused throughout the organization. Therefore, this is the difference between the mechanistic with organic structure. In other words, a mechanistic, it's internal organization structure that is stable in nature, where people perform jobs that do not change much over the time or over the years. While organic organization is internal organization structure that changes frequently, making it likely that people will have to alter the nature of the job they perform over the years. By the way, most of the startup business is what? Organic. Yes, correct, organic. Because it's small, they need flexibility, and maybe one person can hold more than one hat, okay? Very interesting. But do we have big structure? Yes, we have also big organization that if they are in the area of technology, fast moving items, probably they are more organic. Mechanistic is very hospitals, schools, universities, or big companies, big oil companies, mainly mechanistic. Now, design effectiveness, this effect. If this is department function, okay, if it is research, you need, this is department function, this is theorized ideal structure. For research, it has to be organic. For manufacturing, it has to be mechanistic. Now, if you observe this organizational structure observed and this mechanistic structure observed, notice that if the research have there will be highly effectiveness if it is organic, and the same thing, the manufacturing will be highly effective if it is what? If it is mechanistic. And on the other hand, if research was, if the mechanistic was ineffective, if the manufacturing use organic, it will be ineffective. If the research use the mechanistic, it will be ineffective. But this is the design effectiveness, when a group's structure match the ideal design for the task or the group were very effective. When a group's structure did not match the ideal design for the task, the group were not very effective. And this is, as a consultant, sometimes we see it. We go and try to diagnose what's the problem with the structure. First thing we look at it is structure design. Maybe this company doesn't fit mechanistic, it has to be organic. Very interesting. Or maybe it doesn't fit the organic, it has to be mechanistic. But this is something you have to notice as a leader, as a manager. Okay. Mintzberg. Oh, I think we have to stop here because it's 40 minutes and we are going to finish after the break. Thank you very much, and we will be finishing this interesting chapter immediately after the break. You have a good